All right, we're back on Sportsman. You know what? This may be quite a long video. I got a lot of things I need to say because it was a great sports weekend, or should I say week? But let's get something straight here, all right? What happened over the week was really made me disappointed, and not the actual sports, but the people surrounding it. What I mean by it is fans. That's right, and media, and okay, I'll say the refs as well in Game 7 of Clippers Spurs. That was absolutely a joke at the end, but that's not the point. The point is media and fans have just gone way too far this week. And it's very disappointing to see that in one of the biggest sports weeks, and for to turn like this is such a shame, you know what I mean? So let's get started with the NFL draft. I got a lot to say about NFL. Oh my God, NFL draft. Eagles. But you know what? Let's start before the Eagles. Let's just start with the draft in general, all right? Let's start. This is what I mean about fans not understanding how to just calm down. I understand that you hype. I understand that you think that everyone's going to be on key, but they're not. Look at this tweet during the NFL draft. This is when it first started. The first pick. That's right. The first pick came out. This is what a fan had said about Mel Kiper. Seriously, how do you say that this guy is off to a strong start? It's the first pick. We all knew that Winston was going first. That made no sense to me. Like, strong, robust. Like, get out of here with that. We knew it was going to happen. However, if you want to sit here and say, oh, he's off to a strong start and he's going to be great, well, then why did Mel Kiper get the Giants pick wrong so early when he talked about Eric Flowers?
Than JPP, I mean, really, what do they have? They need to get some beef up front, both sides of the football, get back to who they were when they were winning Super Bowls. And here you can see one of these big men come off the board, either offensively or defensively along the lines.
Who's your top offensive lineman on the board now that Scherf's gone?
Right now, no offensive lineman boom would make sense for me. If you're talking about Eric Flowers, Miami of Florida, Andrews, Pete Stanford, I think it's too early. I have them down in the 20s. I think it would be overdrafting and take them at this particular spot in the top 10.
Got to be on one of the fronts. Has to be.
With the 9th pick in the 2015 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Eric Flowers, tackle, Miami.
Yeah, off to a strong start. You taking an L for that one, bro. I'm just saying, that's what you're doing. Now, look, I put it like this, all right? We saw a lot of picks. The Giants, they got some picks. They had some good picks. Minnesota had some good picks. I want to say Jacksonville had some good picks as well. I have to talk about this. Tennessee Titans. Let's talk about this right now because, as you know, people, Tennessee Titans, everyone was after Tennessee Titans because they wanted to get Marcus Mariota. Do we not know this, right? Okay. Now, with Tennessee Titans, we know that the Eagles were desperate to get him. And that's what we talked about this before, about this desperation in Chip Kelly and wanting to get him. I want you to hear what Philly, that's right, what the media is saying here in Philly about Chip Kelly's draft picks. Because they're sitting here lying to the damn fan base. I just want you to hear this real quick on Chip Kelly's plan.
Well, they say defense wins championships, something the Seattle Seahawks can attest to, the 2000 Ravens, the 85 Bears. Now, the Eagles spend 5 of their 6 draft picks on defensive players, Moshe. Was this Chip Kelly's plan going into the draft?
Well, it sure seems like it. And I tell you this, the Eagles under Chip Kelly have finished with the second and third worst pass defenses in the NFL. So it should have been his plan to go in thinking, I really need to upgrade the secondary first and foremost, and he did.
First off, let's get something straight here. See, this is what pisses me off, all right? Because what did I say at the draft, before the draft started? I said that the Eagles needed secondary and receivers, and we got them. Even though for all the secondary they got, someone's going to move to strong safety. That's what it seems like they're grooming somebody to do. But that's not the point. I want to know, why is CSN, why is Jeff Mosher lying to the fans? You are lying. And I'll put it like this. For you to sit here and say that Chip Kelly, first and foremost, was worried about defense, you're a damn liar. That's simple. You want to act like we didn't see as fans that Chip Kelly tried to trade half the team away to get Mariota? And just to let you know, Chip Kelly, that's how you lose your locker room, all right? You put a bad taste in a lot of those players' mouths now. You understand that? You have to also understand, fans who are going to try to defend this, that, hey, you know, he was going to use those draft picks and try to move up if he could. But no one wanted those picks. So what did he do? Because the Titans, they didn't want to move down to 20. They didn't. So what did he do? He wanted to use current players that are on the roster and trade for them. And that didn't work. So it goes to show you he was not worried about defense just yet. What did he do afterwards? He went and got a wide receiver, did he not? Okay, so because the first option failed, he went to the second option, which was to get a wide receiver. He didn't pick anyone on defense to the third option. So don't give me this first and foremost shit, okay? You're lying. And the fact that you still have a job, that's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. You're just going to act like us fans did not witness that at all, huh? This is what I mean about the Philadelphia media, people. But that's not all. You have to understand, when you listen to the Philadelphia media and you listen to these idiots who for some reason are still getting paid to say this garbage, you get fair weather fans. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. Because of the fact that we didn't get Marcus Mariota, fans started leaving. First off, they got salty as hell that Chip could not complete the trade to get the pick or just to get Mariota in general. This was their reaction as soon as Mariota went as the second pick. And after that, Eagles fans began to leave as soon as Mariota was picked for the Titans. What kind of fair weather fan leaves after the second pick of the draft? Who does that? Who does? Seriously, all that time you still got, so you're not even going to wait to see who the Eagles pick, huh? You're just going to leave as soon as Mariota is picked off the board. That is ridiculous. You know what? It's entitled as well. These little entitled fans, and I say this, because who the hell pays all this money to fly out to Chicago, have a hotel, get tickets for the draft, sit at the draft, and as soon as you get there, as soon as Mariota's picked on the second pick of the first round, you leave? Who does this? You don't even stay? You travel all that time, you know what I mean? All that time and space and energy you put into, yes, go Eagles, and as soon as the second pick isn't what you want, you leave. That is garbage. And you know that, Eagles fans. And I'm not saying it's all you. I'm talking about the people who left. They should be ashamed of themselves. You know what? You want to leave? Don't come back. Don't even have a returning flight as far as I'm concerned. That is a joke. But it could be worse, Eagles fans. You could be this Jets fan who, if you ask me, needs to go get his money back for this jersey. Afterwards, reports came out that Andy Reid interfered in the Titans' moves or any type of trade offers when it came to Marcus Mariota. And Eagles fans took it to heart and started jumping all over Andy Reid and saying he should have minded his business. You know, he's just salty. You know, he's spiteful of the Eagles and everything that's happened. Look, I put it like this. It's business. I will put the link in the info bar. He told the Titans to not trade with anyone. It wasn't just the Eagles. Anyone. It's business. You know, to work on Mariota, to get receivers and things of that nature. Just go about your business when it comes to the draft. And they listen to Andy Reid. And you know what? For everyone giving Andy Reid flack, I will say this. Thank you, Andy Reid. Because people have to understand, Chip Kelly, when I said this before, he is a very crazy, dangerous coach. And I told you, he's not stupid, he's not arrogant, he's just crazy. And when he gets desperate, which we saw at the draft, when he gets desperate, he'll do anything. He will trade anyone and everyone to get Marcus Mariota. So possibly if it wasn't for Andy Reid stepping in, we'd have had Mariota, but we wouldn't have had a team. This is a team sport. Even though we don't have a quarterback, seriously, you're taking a gamble on a guy who you don't know whose ceiling is going to be because he's not projected yet, and you'll have to wait X amount of number of years to see how well he'll do. We saw this with Nick Foles, did we not? We've had this discussion on Nick Foles. It's the same thing with every rookie quarterback. So as far as I'm concerned, you cannot sit here and do something like that. Like I said, this team is in trouble. And I say this from a personnel standpoint, not just a performance. No, we're not talking performance. We're talking about how these guys are going to feel in that locker room once, now that they found out, Chip Kelly doesn't want me here. He tried to trade me. He tried to get Mariota. And as anyone saw the press conference, Chip Kelly's like, you can trade me. I don't care. Chip Kelly is a very dangerous person when it comes to having any type of power at this point. I don't trust him at all. This is going to be a very weird season for us Eagles fans. So I'm telling you now, Eagles fans, buckle up, get ready. Like I said, I don't expect much. The last season, not last season, but the season before, I had said I didn't expect much. And then they repeated pretty much the same thing last season. Now I have even less, hopes for the Eagles due to the fact that, like I said, we should wait for preseason. But there's no way you can try and make these moves and justify them and then say, I don't care. That was ridiculous, he said at the press conference. I don't care. What? Like this? No. I can't be on board with that. I can't. I understand that people wanted Mariota and things, but still, we've told you for how long you're not getting Mariota. You're not getting him. And it makes sense. But simply for the stuff that you wanted to give up for him, no, man, no. You know what? I want to move on to other football, overseas football. We'll talk about Chelsea. Now, I want to say on Wednesday, all right, Chelsea had a great game with, Leicester City. Let me say this now. Leicester City, I want to give you some credit due to the fact that you came out and you played. And you know what? You told Chelsea, look, if you're not going to play, especially in the first half, if you're not going to play against us, we're going to put you down. And they put the threat out there and they scored on them. And you know what? Chelsea had to come back the second half. They got cursed out by, you know what I mean? And, in the locker room, they came out the second half and they did what they had to do. Now, I will put it like this. Chelsea did win, but they still need to beat Crystal Palace, all right? However, Leicester City put on a good performance, and like I said about Leicester, you can't take their heart away from what they've done to get out of relegation. Shows how good they've been throughout these, I would say 4 or 5 games now. It's been 6 now because they just beat Newcastle. So let me say this now. I think Leicester City is going to win outside of one challenge. They have one challenge left that could possibly give them problems, and that's Southampton. Other than that, I see Leicester City winning out and getting out of relegation and not having to worry about anything. Today we have Arsenal versus Hull. So we'll see what happens with them. They're kind of in trouble, with the relegation. Also, yesterday, I want to say this now. After Chelsea beat Leicester City, Chelsea played Crystal Palace. And you know what? I'm pretty happy with Chelsea. I am. Because they won the EPL title. And it's not just winning the EPL title. It's not just that. No. It's the way they played. That is something I've been waiting to see for a while. And it's not just about defense. No. They actually played aggressive. They did. They had the possession. They played progressive even down in the stretch. Even though, let's be honest here, Crystal Palace was threatening in the end to try and tie. But the way they attacked is what I want to see. I don't know why this doesn't happen more often. You have players who can attack. You have players who can be aggressive. Be aggressive. You don't always have to play this defense and counter. You don't have to do that. Chelsea played a beauty as far as I'm concerned on Sunday. I did not say much on Twitter. Did I tell you what did I say at the first half? I was like, I'm not saying much. I want to sit and I want to bask in this and see how it works, because this was the game to see if they can win. And they won the EPL title.
Chelsea are the Premier League champions. They spent 247 days at the top of the table. They've done it with 3 matches to spare. Jose Mourinho has returned to West London and engineered a 4th Premier League title for the Blues. Their first in 5 years. The party has started at Stamford Bridge. Elation, ecstasy, relief. Those 2 warriors win the Premier League title again. Anywhere else.
Finish your point.
Yeah, I mean, it was just fitting. It was so fitting today that it was done at Stamford Bridge against Crystal Palace that tripped them up in the title race last year. That it was.
I want to say congratulations, because you know what? You played a hell of a game and you went out and you went and got it. And that's what I've been waiting for. But understand this, even though they won and they celebrated, it's kind of bittersweet to me because I can't be there to celebrate. It's kind of upsetting, especially after the 2008 World Series, if you saw the way people celebrated there. But also, let's get something straight, people, okay? They do not get the trophy, the cup, whatever you want to call it. Here, they call it the title. That's why I call it EPL title. Yes, that's what they call it here, okay? But they don't receive that until after Sunderland. They play Sunderland. So I will put it like this. It's not a vacation. You still have games on the schedule, Chelsea. Go win. You already have what you want. Go win. There's no excuses. No vacation, no times. You can take your vacation after your schedule is over. But you go out there and you still play hard and you go and win. As far as I'm concerned, congratulations. You well-deserved victory, well-deserved season. Even though it still frustrates me to see this type of style of play, very well-deserved. I'm very happy for them. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's just kind of a shame that I can't, I can't celebrate like I want to, like out in the street with them, But hey, it happens. Like I said, I will keep covering it, and I definitely going to cover when they get that title. You know what I mean? When they hoist it up, I definitely want to see that. I want to move on because you know what? The flops. Did you see how they belly flop? It goes to show you that they know how to have fun when they celebrate. And that's a good segue because I want to talk about the Griffin Force flop of the week. Goes to the NBA again. People, watch this flop. This is just absolutely ridiculous. But you know what? Do you expect less from the NBA? Yo, why did he hit the ground like that? He hit the ground hard in the actual contact that supposedly threw him onto the ground. Like, you gotta be kidding me. He did like this weird gallop, like, and then just fell. Like, who does that? Who? Come on, man. You know what? Speaking of wanting people to be hit harder if they're gonna do something like that when they fall, let's talk Mayweather Pacquiao. That's right. Now, a lot of people are very upset with Mayweather Pacquiao. And before I get started on this, all right, because I'm very disappointed in the fans the way they've been acting as of late, okay? Especially, you know, after the fight was over. But we're going to put it all in perspective today because I'm tired of seeing stuff on my timeline, Mayweather hugging and all that. That's very disappointing to see. It almost tells me that a lot of you people don't know what the fuck is going on with boxing. That's what it tells me, okay? Some of you just said it's a joke and laugh it off. And yeah, I can see that, all right? And I can laugh at it. But there's some of you who are very, very serious when it came to the way, Mayweather fought and how he's running us. We've talked about this for weeks now. And you know what? I'm getting real sick and tired. We already knew that Mayweather was getting paid a lot of money, all right? We knew this. However, when the stats came out compared to other athletes, this is how long Mayweather had to fight to trump other athletes' salaries. Floyd Mayweather made $83,000 per second. $83,000. That is absolutely ridiculous. And let me say this now, because for everyone that says boxing is dead, look, that is the biggest payday we have seen in combat sports. The biggest. You can't take that away from, Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. You can't. But let's talk about the fight, shall we? Let's talk about it. It seems like people really don't understand boxing. And you know what? This is the third week in a row we've seen boxers act a fool. And I'm going to say this because you'll know what I'm talking about in a minute, okay? You have to understand, in boxing, when it came down to it, Floyd Mayweather, he controlled the middle of the ring. He controlled the middle of the ring, all right? All he kept doing was jabbing and waiting for the counter with the right, did we not? Manny could not handle Floyd in the middle of the ring. We saw when Manny what would he do? The only time he would get his shots off is when he was against the ropes. So that flurry was coming. However, they even showed, if you watch the damn fight, they showed every time Manny was doing flurries, what were they doing? They were hitting his arms. That's not a point. They're not points. So you can do all this all you want. And he's doing this is nothing. All right? Nothing. However, there's times, because he's going to limit your little flurry, because if he lets you keep going off on him like that, then you're eventually it's going to make it look like he's creating the pressure, enough to control the fight. So what did Floyd do? He held him. And if you notice, a lot of people are like, Floyd holds too much. He won't let Manny fight. Bullshit. Bullshit. And I'll put it like this. You want to see holding? Before the Floyd Mayweather-Manny Pacquiao fight, okay? Go back and watch Lomachenko versus Rodriguez. It was the first fight on the card, okay? Rodriguez is holding Lomachenko's arm to the point where he's walking Lomachenko over into the ring. He's just walking around with him. And he took 2 points from him because of it. That's holding, okay? We saw with Klitschko, what did he do? He would hold the guy, he would clinch with the guy, and then walk him back across the ring, into the corner with Jennings, against the ropes, into the corner. That is holding. What Floyd did was, he clinched so that Manny couldn't throw those little sporadic punches, and then rolled off. Or they broke. He didn't hold him to the point where he can just walk him wherever the hell he wanted to, did he? No. There is a difference between clinching and holding. And what Floyd did was the reason he was clinching so much is, like I said, you want to stop that flurry. But people have to understand, Floyd got caught with a nice counter left. And when he got caught, he didn't know how to react. That's what it was. He went into defense mode. He was just holding like this. That's all he was doing. Because in boxing, that's what they teach you. If you feel that you're getting gassed or you feel that you're hurt, the first thing you should do is keep your form. Keep your form. It doesn't matter what happens at that point because you're just waiting. You're trying to recover, whether it's energy or trying to shake off a punch. Keep your form. Manny hurt Floyd when he hit him with that counter. However, let's get something straight here. When Floyd was countering with the right hand, he was catching Manny as well. All right? So, I want to put it like this. Manny Pacquiao did not look like he was up to snuff to fight Floyd Mayweather because we saw no type of pace. We saw that he didn't change his philosophy whatsoever. He would just come in straight just straight, blah, 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 and you can't do that. You got to do it on angles if that's the case. Or you have to bait him. You have to set up some feints to go into that you have to set up a feint to go into another flurry. That's what you have to do. Floyd was constantly looking at different angles. As you can see, he was catching one angles. He was moving around the ring. I'm not trying to hear that he was running, because you know what? We've been talking about this for 3 weeks now, and for the third week in a row, we have another fighter who felt he won the fight. Come on. First it was Chavez Jr. who thought that he won the fight, right? And we all talked about that. Then we said Jennings, we heard him say he thought he won the fight. Listen to Manny as he talked to Max Kellerman about how he felt he won the fight.
What's your impression of this fight?
Well, it's a good fight. I thought I won the fight.
You thought you won the fight? Why?
He didn't do nothing. He always, move outside.
Well, but he had to be hitting you with something, because you weren't attacking him with the same kind of ferocity that we sometimes see you attack. Was he not doing something to keep you off?
Yeah, I mean, I got him many times, solid punches, and I think I believe I thought I won the fight.
We didn't ringside, the judges didn't. Right from the outset in the first round, he seemed to be able to get you to fight at his pace. You usually throw a lot of punches. You didn't throw as many punches right from the beginning. Why?
No, he's moving around. He's moving around. It's not easy to throw a lot of punches if people want moving around. But if he stay, then I can throw a lot of punches. But
you knew that coming in, so didn't you have to do something to get him to stay?
Yeah, I'm just cutting in and counter. But that's fight. That's fight.
He seemed to catch you with some good right hands early in the fight. Did you feel his power?
Yeah, I can handle his power. It's not strong like Margarito or other opponent Cotto like that.
So you're saying you thought you were up in the fight, and that's why maybe you didn't attack him. You didn't step up the pace even more in the 11th and 12th rounds.
Yes, but
Manny, because ringside, I thought I had him winning pretty wide. It seemed to me that his size was giving you some trouble. He's a bigger fighter than you. Was he able to use his size against you?
No, he's not bigger than me. It's not about the size. The size doesn't matter. I've been fighting bigger than him, and nothing problem.
Manny, what's next for you?
Well, take it easy, vacation, and Bob will take care of the rest.
Thanks as always, Manny. Jim?
So let me get this straight, okay? You're sitting here saying that you thought you won the fight, and that's the reason you didn't step on the gas in the 11th and 12th round, which are championship rounds. So you were going to coast. You thought you were going to really coast through that. You got to be kidding me. And then he sits here and says that Floyd was moving around. He couldn't catch Floyd because he was moving around, but if he just stood in one spot, he was going to be able to get off his punches. People, do you not understand how boxing works here, all right? This is not, I'm going to stand in one spot and fight. It's stick and move. That's what you're supposed to do. We saw this with Danny Garcia, and we had this conversation before. Did we not? It frustrated him that he couldn't catch him. Floyd is supposed to move around. It's almost like nobody watched the Floyd Mayweather fight before this fight. That's what it feels like. There is no way you can sit here and tell me you expected him to stand in the middle of the ring with you and trade. Come on. That is ridiculous. If you really thought that was going to happen, Manny Pacquiao, you beat yourself. There is no way. And to say that you won this fight, or fans who feel he won this fight, or came to a draw, let's look at the punch stats. Punch total came down to 148 to 81. So for anyone who said Floyd was running, if anyone said that, he was holding, then what's the excuse for the punch stats? Because it's 148 to 81. That is a landslide. This is the same thing we saw with Klitschko and Jennings when it came to a landslide. And yes, Floyd was peppering the jab. It was the same thing. And yet, what did everyone say? Jennings lost that fight. So if Jennings lost that fight to Klitschko by a landslide, and you see these punch stats, you would think what? Manny lost this fight to a landslide, right? You know what? Maybe there's too many stats. Let me simplify this for some people. Not for you people, but just in case, randoms want to come in and talk about this. I'm going to simplify the punch stats for you so that you can see it, okay? This is right off. Anyone who's going to sit here and say CompuBox is not, ain't not credible, which is crazy, I'll give you the stats right from off their screen. Mayweather landed more power shots and more jabs. Manny did not. End of fucking story. However, I will put it like this, alright? Because everyone's going to say, what's the stat for holding? What's the stat for running? I'll put it like this. If you don't like Floyd Mayweather, that's fine. You don't have to. That is your opinion. You are allowed to have that right. You know what I mean? But when you are watching a boxing match, because that's what you got. You got a boxing match. You didn't get entertainment. You got a boxing match, okay? And you still don't want to give this guy his credit after what he did? There's something fucking wrong with you. That's not boxing. You know what? It's the same thing. This is what I mean about boxing fans as opposed to real boxing fans. And you know what? Teddy Atlas, I will put the link in the info bar. All right? Teddy Atlas came out and trashed the fan base when it came to that fight that night. The people who were in that stadium. He said those weren't real boxing fans. He said that. He said because they were rich, entitled celebrities, they said who were the people who could pay their way to see this fight. Seriously, why the hell is Paris Hilton at the fight anyway? What the hell she know about boxing? But you know what? That's not all. We saw during the weigh-in the day before what happened. People scalped the tickets. Mind you, the weigh-in tickets were $10 for boxing fans to see the weigh-in. People bought up all the tickets and then scalped them outside for $100 plus. Everyone had their hand out for this. And all you saw was celebrity after celebrity after celebrity. And then they get disappointed when they didn't get the fight that they wanted. Because they wanted a show, not a boxing match. They wanted a war, and they got taught a lesson. That's what it was. And it seems like people don't understand. And this is what pisses me off. Because when you want to talk boxing, and you want to talk about it in its purest form, what Floyd Mayweather did was something Sugar Ray Leonard did back in his time. Was something a lot of boxers did. Lara did against Canelo. And every time you see these guys who stick and move, what are they called? Runners. I'm sick and tired of this. I've told you before and I'll say it again, okay? It is not their problem if you can't catch them. As you heard Max Kellerman, you didn't do enough to try and stop Floyd Mayweather from running. That's what it is. I'm happy that that was said by someone other than myself. Because it goes to show you that when it comes down to it, you're going to try and play this manly type thing. Nah, it don't work that way. Oh, he's running, so that makes him left as a man, so that means I should win. Every time Manny threw a jab or would get a good shot in, the crowd went nuts. They went nuts. To make it seem like he was doing more than what he really was. And that's a problem. Alright? But it's great to see that the judges actually did their job. Alright? I would have thought it would have been a little bit close. I had Manny about what? He got about what? 2-3 rounds? That's about right. That's about right. As far as I'm concerned, he was not Manny that night. He wasn't. And it had nothing to do with his shoulder. Because for those who don't know, he went on to say that, afterwards, that his shoulder was hurt and that, he was denied a shot, to make it better before the fight. So let me get this straight. You need to be injected with something to make your shoulder better before a fight. Boxers are never 100%. But in no time in that fight did we see Manny favor his shoulder. Even in the interview, he was like, I'm good. So I'm not trying to hear after the fight you're going to talk about something. My shoulder was hurt and I had injured and I didn't receive a shot. I'm not trying to hear that. And not one time did you favor your shoulder. Not one time did you show any type of pain or injury to that right hand. That shoulder? No way. I'm not trying to hear that. Suck it up. But it goes to show you, and I've said this before about people getting injected with stuff because they fight, but I didn't say it about boxing. We were talking football at the time. So it doesn't matter if it was Manny or it was Floyd or whoever, all right? When you need to take some type of shot to get back on the field or on the court or on the ice or in the ring, I said what? That should be illegal. Because you're speeding up a process of your injury. And that is a performance-enhancing drug. I don't care if it's regulated or whatever. I don't care. The fact is, that's what it does. But it seems like I said, it's not just in Manny's case. Like I said, it could have been in any athlete's case. And that's to be fair, because that's how I feel about it. But that's a joke. The fact is, he lost the fight. He did. Manny says he's going to take a vacation and see how he feels afterwards to see if they come back, what they're going to do. Floyd, for what we're hearing, he's getting ready to drop the titles and be like, look, I don't care anymore. Like, he still has to fight. But we've seen so many people get so upset. What was it? Evander Holyfield was like, Manny Pacquiao won the fight. I'm thinking, what the hell did he say? Paulie Malignaggi called out all the people who were fans of Pacquiao and called you sore losers. That's what he said. Now, here's the thing. There was only one real loser in this because Manny, he got a great payday, walked away smiling. Floyd got a great payday, he walked away smiling. All of Vegas, bookmakers and everything, they all walked away smiling. On top of Game 7 of, San Antonio, LA, and the horse racing, for Kentucky Derby. So, Vegas, they made out. They did that day. The only people who really lost were the pay-per-view customers. If you paid $100, all right, for this fight, which you shouldn't have. You shouldn't have. That was just absolutely crazy. But you paid $100 for the fight. And then we hear reports that 70% of the people who paid for the pay-per-view couldn't watch it. There's a problem. That is a huge problem. So they took your money, the cable providers took your money, and you couldn't see it exactly when it was happening. You are the real losers of this. And you should be very upset with your cable provider if that happened. That is absolutely ridiculous. That's sad. Speaking of more ridiculous stuff, I could go on about Mayweather Pacquiao for a long time. I could do a round-by-round breakdown. I swear, but we only have so much time. I want to talk about more ridiculousness when it comes to Jon Jones. For those who don't know, we talked about not too long ago about Jon Jones, and I said he should have been stripped from the title. And as we know, Jon Jones has been stripped from the title and suspended indefinitely. And we know now that Rumble Johnson will fight Daniel Cormier. So we will see what happens in that. But you know what, Jon Jones, I feel bad for Jon Jones to an extent. Because he obviously has the signs of an addict. He needs help. I feel as though Dana White, because you let him get away with it for so long, especially when he went to rehab for a day, you enabled him to that. That's what you did. That's how I feel. You didn't teach him anything and say, you know what, this is what you did. Like I said, you've kicked out guys for smoking weed. You've kicked out guys for PEDs, which is understandable. But if you're going to put that type of, that standard, when someone is doing coke, you got to do the same thing. And we all know, and I'll put the link in the info bar about it, because we all know, if Jon Jones cleans himself up, which if you ask me, what he did, that's a career ender. But, if he did this, he's going to get it. If he cleans himself up, he's going to get a second chance. He has made way too much money. Dana White does not care, really, if you ask me. He doesn't. I think this is one of those moves where he's like, all right, I guess we got to do it now. Because you let him get away with it for so long. He was a special case. That's what you did. But now we will see who will win between Rumble Johnson and Daniel Cormier. Rumble Johnson has the advantage when it comes to striking, as far as I'm concerned. Daniel Cormier has the advantage when it comes to wrestling. We will see what happens. I know a lot of you have been messaging me saying, you know what, I really want to see Johnson beat up Jones, pure striking. But this will make for an interesting matchup. We will see what happens. Daniel Cormier taking this, and if you ask me, it's kind of late notice, all right, to take this fight for Daniel Cormier. But hey, when someone gives you a title shot, you take it. You know what I mean? I don't know how this is going to work out. We saw he had stamina problems last time. Maybe he'll pace himself. We don't know. But the fact is, this should be a better fight. I think a better performing fight, as opposed to people just wanting to see a one-sided slaughter. This will actually be pretty competitive. We'll see what happens. But Cormier has to be careful of those strikes. This is not like back in the day at Strikeforce when you were fighting Bigfoot Silva. This is not those days. Rumble Johnson is a threat. He can throw. So we will see what happens. Also, just to let you know, on Friday, coming up, we have Glory Kickboxing. I will be looking forward to that, even though they're going to be running a little late. Here it'll be, I think, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think they're trying to do that due to the fact that Friday Night Fights comes on before that, so they don't want to interfere with the time schedules, so you can get those ratings. So we'll see what happens then. I will be watching. I will talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm out.